Alright, welcome to another 10-minute episode of Everything Sports with Amon and Evan. I'm your host, Evan Garber, and today we're going to be talking about the two NBA in-season tournament quarterfinals that we saw yesterday. One being the Pacers and Celtics, and the other being Pelicans and the Kings. First, I just want to say prayers up to the family of that fan that passed away during that Kings-Pelicans game. That's just really, really sad to see. I mean, you go there to just enjoy and have a good time time watching some basketball, and that just happens. Um, it's really such a sad, sad thing, and prayers up to this family. I mean, they're probably going through a lot right now, so please just everyone pray for that family. But moving on, starting off with the Pacers and Celtics game. That game was so much fun. Pacers won it 122 to 112. And really, the difference in that game was 3-point shooting, because the Celtics they went 12 of 41 from three. The Pacers they went 19 of 40, and of course, if you do the math, 21 points on threes. The Pacers were able to get more of, and the difference was 10 points. So just look at that, and you really just see where the difference was made. Tyrese Halliburton had an absolutely insane game. His first triple-double of his career, 26, 10, and 13 on 0 turnovers in his first game ever on TNT. I mean, that guy's an absolute baller. He's so good. I definitely expected him to take a jump this year, but I definitely did not see this coming. Definitely didn't see him averaging close to 30 and close to probably double-digit assists on 0 turnovers. I mean, with that team around him, you didn't really expect that, but I mean, man, that guy's an absolute tear. And of course, he would healed, also hitting some big shots in that game, hitting some dagger threes late in the game, scored 21 points. He played a big role in this game, but I think really what made the big difference was Aaron Nesmith and Ben Mathurin, who were huge at the bench. Nesmith getting 14, 1 and 1, and Mathurin getting 16, 5 and 2 off the bench. Those two guys have been, I would say, a little bit inconsistent so far this season, but if you got those guys hitting like they did yesterday, Pacers are a very, very scary team. The best scoring team in the NBA, which I'll get to a little bit later, but I think the Pacers team is going to be a very, very serious problem for years and years to come. Like we know, they're a very, very young team. I think their oldest player is TJ McConnell at 31 years old or something like that. This team is very, very, very young, and with obviously Tyrese Halliburton as the guy to build around, you have some solid pieces like Miles Turner, Andrew Nembhard, Ben Mathurin, Aaron Nesmith, Bruce Brown even as well, who's still fairly young. Like, you have so many guys that you can build around. Of course, some of them probably will be moved in order to make that championship push, which I wouldn't say they're at right now, but I mean, honestly, they could be a very surprised team like the Diamondbacks were in baseball this year, because this team, although it's lacking the veteran leadership that the Diamondbacks had on their roster, I mean, they had the rising star in Tyrese Halliburton, which is similar to Corbin Carroll, and then they also have good complementary pieces around him. Like I mentioned, all those guys that I mentioned are very, very good complementary pieces around a guy like Tyrese Halliburton, because they can all shoot. They're all very, very good scorers. And I think that's what you need about Halliburton, because Halliburton, he can create for himself very, very well, but also create for others very well, as we've seen with his high turnover, or high assists and very, very low turnovers so far this season. Like I mentioned earlier, Pacers are the highest scoring team in the NBA, 128.4 points per game, and they've been extremely efficient so far this season. Most efficient team in the NBA. 50.9% from the field and 38.8% from three. I mean, when you have offense like that, you're really going to be unbeatable. No matter how mediocre their defense is right now, I mean, they give me the most points per game at 125.2, and second worst rebounding team. But if you're scoring 128 points a game, almost close to 130 points per game, you're going to win every single game more than likely. You're going to win most of these games. Of course, it will be a struggle against guys like Kevin Durant and those Phoenix Suns, or even the Celtics, but although they did beat the Celtics here in this game, but when the healthy Celtics team, you're gonna need to score a lot of points, of course, but you're also gonna need to play some good defense, because at some point your offense is gonna be slowing down a little bit. You're not gonna be scoring 128 points a game. You're gonna go up against a defense like the Timberwolves, who will shut you down or find a way to limit your points. I think they could go out and get a Pascal Siakam or OG Anunoby to fix that defensive problem, the rebounding problem as well. But I don't really see it happening, honestly, at this moment because I don't think it's worth the price. Anunoby, he will be sought out after by a lot of contenders who need a defensive staple, just like the Dallas Mavericks or other teams like that. I don't think that the Pacers have enough at the moment that they'd want to give up in order to get Anunoby and Siakam as well. He's probably a good contender as I think as well. Maybe the Kings, maybe the Warriors. I don't know, but I don't think they have enough pieces that they're willing to give up right now to get either of those guys. Moving on to the Celtics. I mean, they had without Porzingis this game, so I think that was definitely a big issue. And when you have Porzingis in that lineup, playing for the Celtics team, it gives them sort of different dynamic because they can mix and match rotation a little bit. Of course, they can run two bigs. They can run the starting lineup as normal. They can use Al Horford off the bench, which I think is definitely a good thing for them to do. And then also, you can run one of the starters on the bench as well to help that bench unit because I think that's where they struggled a little bit last game yesterday. They needed some more scoring off the bench. Which honestly, like when you're gonna rely on Luke Cornett and guys like that, you're probably not gonna score off of the bench. That's why you need a guy like Derek White, a guy like Jaylen Brown, a guy like Jason Tatum, just someone from that starting lineup to help out that bench, or even Al Horford. Al Horford off the bench has been pretty solid so far, so that's what you definitely need if you're the Boston Celtics. But they're doing just fine, honestly. They're one of the best teams in the NBA, and I don't see this win or this loss really meaning anything to them. And it just means a lot for the Pacers. I think that's really what moral of the story is here for this game. The Pacers are a legit team. Celtics, they'll be just fine. But man, oh man, what a win for the Indiana Pacers. Moving on to Pelicans and Kings. Pelicans, they won this game 127 to 117. And then really the big difference in this game was the defense by the Pelicans. Their defense was absolutely insane. The Kings started off pretty hot in this game. It looked like they're going to run away with it. But then the Pelicans switched to their small ball lineup with Zion at the 5, and they just stopped letting the Kings dictate the pace, which is what was happening in the first quarter, most of the first quarter. The Kings were dictating the pace. They were running up and down. But then you switched to the small ball 5 with Zion, and you add Trey Murphy and Alvarado off the bench, who were absolutely insane. Big X factors off the bench. They were the key pieces to winning this game, in my eyes. So once you added them into the lineup, and then the Kings struggled a little bit. Alvarado, of course, it was a great game for him. 9 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, with 2 steals and 2 blocks. Trey Murphy had an insane game off the bench, 16 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and a block. And Herb Jones was an absolute dog. I want to give my flowers to him. He was insane. 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, with 2 blocks. And, of course, Ingram was great as well. 30 points, 8 boards, and 6 assists. And he really showed some KD-like flashes, which is honestly really, really scary to see if you're in the NBA. If you can get him looking like Kevin Durant, you can get what you got from Herb Jones, we got from Alvarado, what we got from Trey Murphy. And then even Zion, when Zion's back to what he used to be, I would say he's still very, very good right now, but if you can get Zion doing what he used to be doing, what he did in Duke, like that team is going to be pretty scary for the Western Conference. I do think that they need to figure something out because I just don't think this team right now is set for what they want to do inside the championship run, but they definitely looked pretty darn good yesterday. On the flip side, in Fox and Sabonis, they played pretty well per usual. I mean, Malik Monk scoring 20 off the bench was probably the most promising thing for that team. Malik Monk has been pretty good so far this season. Could be one of the top guys for Sixth Man of the Year. Probably the top guy, honestly, right now in my eyes. But really, what the issue was is that they dug themselves in the hole when Fox is off the court, and when you don't have Fox in the court, like you're not gonna get the same offense that you have when he is on the court, of course. And I think that was really the big issue. They couldn't figure out what to do with Jose Alvarado and Trey Murphy. Those two were absolute dogs. They were playing amazingly defensively. They were good on the offensive end as well, and I think That was the main difference of this game. And overall, the tournament has been insanely fun. I honestly didn't think that this tournament would be this fun. I was expecting teams to not really care a whole lot, but man, was I wrong. This tournament has been absolutely so much fun. Felt like a playoff atmosphere over there in Indiana. First playoff atmosphere kind of game they've had in a long time, so it's great to see for them. And I hope that the games today can live up to that similar hype because this thing has a chance to honestly be really, really fun and honestly is a very, very great idea for the NBA. I didn't expect it to be this great of an idea, but man, oh man, this tournament has been absolutely so much fun. Let me know what you guys think about the in-season tournament down below, and let me know your predictions for the in-season tournament, as well as predictions for the rest of the season, for who you think will win the NBA championship. And let me know your thoughts also on the Indiana Pacers as well, who've been absolutely insane.